My beloved child, before you hear another word, pause for a moment and listen closely, because what I am about to tell you may completely change the way you see yourself, the way you enter a room, and even the way certain people respond to you. Something happened last night, something that may have looked ordinary from the outside, but it carried a message that you were never supposed to ignore. Do not skip this. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and the reason this message found you at this exact moment is connected to something you have been overlooking for far too long. You may have thought the problem was your confidence, your timing, your luck, your circumstances, or even the way people treated you, but there is another detail hiding in plain sight. It is connected to the way you present yourself before you ever speak a single sentence. Your appearance is communicating something before your voice gets the opportunity to explain who you are. And last night, something happened that made this impossible to ignore. Someone noticed something about you, or perhaps someone noticed the version of you that you have been allowing the world to see. You may be thinking, is this really about clothing? No, my child. It is much deeper than clothing. This is about identity, self-respect, preparation, and the silent message you send when you walk into a room. A person can wear expensive clothes and still look uncertain. A person can wear simple clothes and carry an extraordinary presence. The difference is not always the price tag. Sometimes it is the intention behind what you wear. Sometimes it is the discipline behind your appearance. Sometimes it is the realization that you are no longer supposed to dress like the person you used to be. And that is where this message becomes powerful. You have been growing, changing, learning, and becoming stronger, but your outer presentation may still be telling the story of an older version of you. Do not skip, because I want you to understand exactly what that means. There is a moment in life when you must stop dressing for the person you were and start presenting yourself as the person you are becoming. That moment may be closer than you think. Something huge is waiting for you, but you have to recognize the door before you can walk through it. There is a reason certain moments stay in your memory long after they happen, and last night may have been one of those moments. Maybe nothing dramatic happened. Maybe there was no announcement, no celebration, no obvious sign that your life was changing. Perhaps you simply looked in the mirror for a little longer than usual. Perhaps you saw an old photograph. Perhaps you walked past someone who looked remarkably confident and wondered why you did not feel the same way. Perhaps you received a comment that seemed small but stayed in your mind. Maybe someone looked at you differently. Maybe a conversation made you realize that people form impressions much faster than you imagined. Whatever happened, do not dismiss the feeling that followed it. Sometimes the smallest moment becomes the beginning of the biggest internal transformation. Stay till the end, because I am going to show you why your wardrobe may be telling a story that no longer matches your future. You do not need to become someone else. You do not need to imitate celebrities, influencers, executives, or anyone you admire. You do not need to spend a fortune. You need to understand yourself. You need to understand what makes you feel composed, prepared, and authentic. When you dress with intention, something changes before anyone else notices. You stand differently. You move differently. You become more aware of yourself. You stop hiding behind random choices and begin making deliberate ones. That confidence does not come from a shirt, a jacket, a pair of shoes, or a particular style. Those things simply become tools through which you express the confidence you are building internally. And perhaps that is what last night was really showing you. You have been waiting for an external sign that you are ready, but maybe the first sign has to come from you. Maybe you have to decide that you are worthy of presenting yourself with care before the world begins responding differently. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and the revelation is not that you need to look perfect. The revelation is that you may have been making yourself smaller without realizing it. Here is something most people never think about. Your clothes can influence your behavior because they can influence how consciously you carry yourself. Imagine 2 mornings. On the first morning, you wake up late, grab whatever is closest, put it on without looking carefully, leave your room in a hurry, and spend the entire day feeling slightly unprepared. On the second morning, you wake up with enough time to choose your clothes, make sure everything is clean and comfortable. Arrange your appearance, and walk outside knowing exactly how you want to present yourself. Nothing magical happened between those 2 mornings. Your life did not suddenly become easier. Your problems did not disappear. But your mindset may be different. You have given yourself a signal, I am prepared. That signal matters. And this is why the title is more serious than it first appears. You need to work on the way you dress does not mean you are unattractive. It does not mean you should feel ashamed of yourself. It means there may be a gap between the person you are becoming and the way you currently introduce yourself to the world. Do not turn this message into criticism. Turn it into a wake-up call. There is a difference between judging yourself and refining yourself. One destroys confidence. The other builds it. You are not being asked to reject who you are. You are being asked to take greater ownership of who you are becoming. Look at the details you normally ignore. Are your clothes clean? Are they well maintained? Do they fit comfortably? Do the colors work together? Do your shoes look cared for? Does your overall appearance feel intentional? These questions may sound simple, but simple things become powerful when repeated consistently. Sometimes transformation begins with something so ordinary that nobody applauds you for doing it. You simply decide that tomorrow morning will look different. Then the next morning arrives, and you keep your promise. That is how self-respect grows. Not through one dramatic decision, but through dozens of quiet decisions that eventually change your identity. Stay till the end, because there is another part of this that almost nobody talks about, and it may be the most important part of all. Imagine walking into a room where nobody knows your history. Nobody knows what you have survived. Nobody knows how hard you have worked. Nobody knows how many times you had to start again. Nobody knows the dreams you carry or the battles you have won silently. Before you speak, they can only observe what is visible. This does not mean appearances determine your worth. They do not. Your worth is deeper than appearance. But first impressions exist, and pretending otherwise will not make them disappear. The way you dress can become part of the language through which you communicate reliability, creativity, professionalism, calmness, or confidence. You are not dressing to manipulate people. You are dressing to make your external presentation more consistent with your internal intentions. And there is something almost shocking about what happens when those two finally align. You stop constantly wondering whether people are judging you, because you become more comfortable with the person you are presenting. You no longer feel like you are wearing a costume. You feel like yourself, only more intentional. This is why you must not copy someone else's style blindly. The most powerful appearance is one that looks natural on you. If you are uncomfortable, everyone can sense it. If you are wearing something simply because you believe it will impress people, you may spend the entire day thinking about whether people are impressed. But when you understand what works for you, your attention becomes available for more important things. You can focus on your work, your conversation, your ideas, your goals, your relationships, your future. That is the hidden power of refining your appearance. It is not about receiving compliments. It is about removing unnecessary insecurity from your mind. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because we are getting closer to the real message behind what happened last night. There is also a deeper reason why you may have felt uncomfortable with your appearance lately. You may have outgrown it. Think about that carefully. Sometimes we keep wearing the same styles, the same combinations, the same habits, because they belong to a chapter of our lives that once felt safe. But growth often makes old patterns feel strangely uncomfortable. The clothes that once felt perfectly normal may suddenly feel disconnected from you. The colors may feel wrong. The fit may feel wrong. The overall image may feel like a person you used to be. That discomfort does not always mean something is wrong. Sometimes it means you are changing. And when you are changing internally, your external life eventually has to catch up. This happens with your environment, your routines, your friendships, your priorities, and yes, even your wardrobe. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to decide that something no longer represents you. You are allowed to look at your closet and say, This belonged to an earlier chapter. That is not arrogance. That is awareness. But be careful, evolution does not require extravagance. You do not need to chase every trend. Trends disappear quickly. Personal style remains when it is.